Legend of Zelda continues. Defeat your enemies, save the kingdom, use your sword. Beware. I cannot help you.
Find the crystals, rescue the princess.
Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link.
I couldn't resist. The adverts for these old Zelda games are just so weird. Why did they think creepy voice would help sales? Defeat your enemies. The 80s sure were odd, but to be honest, so was Zelda 2. Zelda 2 is so unlike any of the other games in the series it isn't even funny. This game is strange, and to this day it's the only Zelda game I don't particularly enjoy playing through. I guess it's just a little too freaking impossible for my liking. While writing this script, I was inspired to try again. I spent a few frustrating hours in the first palace before deciding to sit in one spot and grind to quite high stats. This took me an hour and a half of killing the same bubble. But even being a much higher level than I needed to be didn't help my enjoyment of this game, and I gave up just after Death Mountain. I just don't like it. Still, there must be some high points, some unique features of this game that could be implemented in Zelda Wii U. Let's have a look at the strangest title in the series and list 5 things it brought to the table that could influence Zelda U. So, what's good about Zelda 2? Well, for one, you get a far larger scale map than in the previous title. In fact, the largest map of any Zelda to date. You see this area here? That's the entire overworld of the first Zelda, and in fact, the entire overworld of basically every Zelda game set in Hyrule. Yeah, this game's map is huge. Zelda 2 completely threw everything we knew about how Zelda was played from the original out the window, and changed even how the overworld works. You travel from the normal top-down perspective, but then encounter enemies and enter an instance where you fight them in a 2D plane. Things like caves, towns, and most importantly the dungeons and palaces are also in this 2D side-scroller format. Sort of like Mega Man, but with Link. Anyway, let's get straight into my top 5 picks for what I think Zelda U should take from this black sheep of the series. Number 5. Experience points and leveling up. Wait, I can hear the pitchforks being sharpened and torches lit as I speak. Don't crucify me on this one just yet. The reason experience points is on this list is I think Zelda U can learn from Adventure of Link's mistakes and do what it appears the entire rest of the series has done and forget they ever existed. Regardless of how much of my childhood was spent grinding on RuneScape, the last thing I want is to have to spend hours killing monsters on Zelda U for the sole purpose of leveling up to make your quest easier. One of my favourite things about the first game was that except for items like the different rings and swords, most of the game relied on you getting better rather than Link getting stronger. And this definitely should be the case. Having experience points in Zelda U would be the death of the non-linear gameplay that we're all awaiting, since you may encounter enemies or dungeons that you simply cannot beat because they're too powerful for your level. Later dungeons should be accessible and beatable from early on in the game, provided the player has the skill to do so. Number 4. I really should have mentioned this in my last top 5 talking about the original Zelda, but I really want the return of the raft. The raft is used to cross bodies of water after setting off from a dock. Now, take a look at the map of Zelda Wii U, and especially the coastline. There is so much water there, and the fact that there's a pretty large island here is strong evidence for the possibility of Link being able to take to the seas, even if it is on a handmade raft. With what we've seen of Link's equipment, namely his bows and shields, it's likely that he can upgrade his items in this game. Perhaps his seafaring equipment will begin with a humble raft before he can find and use more advanced craft like what we've seen in Wind Waker. Number 3. Dark Link. This menace has become a fan favourite character, despite minimal appearances in Zelda games. Inspired by Peter Pan's shadow, he actually appears, spoiler alert for a 27-year-old game, as the final boss of Adventure of Link. Dark Link provided an ultimate challenge, for not only did Link have to conquer his enemies, but also himself in an epic duel to the death. Well, that, or he could just crouch in the corner and stab repeatedly, whatever floats your boat. Of course, Dark Link's most memorable appearance came as the mini-boss of the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time. Say what you will about the temple, but the atmosphere of this one room is truly a moment to remember. Link's reflection suddenly vanishes from beneath him, only for him to find it standing, staring at him from an island, before they lock swords in a duel. With Link in the game seeming to be very well kitted out and agile, another fight against his shadow would be an incredible experience on the Wii U. Number 2. The ability to jump. I know it's a series staple and all, Link's inability to jump in the 3D Zeldas outside of just running off edges and in certain situations, but if Aonuma's vision is to create a truly captivating and real world, especially with so many different elevations in the form of valleys and mountains, Link simply can't be glued to the floor in this installment. If he can do this, with the help of Epona, he must be able to jump by himself. Adventure of Link's jumping swordplay actually served as inspiration for some of Link's aerial attacks in Super Smash Bros, such as the jump thrust and downward thrust being his up air and down air respectively. Combat could become more advanced in Zelda Wii U with the addition of aerial attacks as well as grounded ones. If we can have jumping blows to Ganondorf's head in Wind Waker during parry sequences, why not allow the player to control Link's jump themselves? Number 1. Spells. Oh my god, this needs to return. And seeing as how we have this in the gameplay teaser, which is almost definitely the magic meter, might we see a return of spells in Zelda U? I bloody hope so. I may not have enjoyed Adventure of Link, but the spells in it were freaking amazing. Ranging from Shield, which reduces damage Link takes, to Jump, which doubles Link's jump height. Does that sound familiar to you?
Shield! Jump! I'm really feeling it!
Other spells Link has give him the ability to heal himself, turn into a fairy, reflect magic with his shield, and even summon a lightning storm to destroy all enemies on screen. Crazy. We can see from Zelda U's recent teaser footage that Link is in possession of a small book, complete with a glowing Sheikah eye. Many theories surround this book, but what if it's a book of spells which Link can use? He's already got a powerful arsenal of equipment in this game: great sword, short sword, 2 bows, 2 shields, bomb arrows and laser arrows. Imagine if he also had access to an extensive library of spells like in the second NES title. Spells from Zelda 2 is something that I really would like to see back in Zelda. Thanks for watching this top 5 video. I do have to apologise for the lack of Zelda focus videos. More will be coming soon, but I'm conscious of making subpar videos, so I'd rather spend more time analysing to make a video that's good rather than rush out poor videos. Of course, you can bet money that as soon as we get new Zelda U footage, Zelda focus videos will come out thick and fast, as there'll be lots to say. Check back here next week for what Zelda U could learn from the next game in the Zelda series, one of the highest rated games of all time, A Link to the Past.